All right, guys, welcome back to the next episode. What we're on today is a figure eight car. Now, a figure eight car is kind of like a circle track car, except you meet in the middle. They do them a lot of county fairs around here, so I just do it to have fun. I started when I was probably back in high school or so, and then I went to college. Things got busy, family got started, and I kind of got back into it a couple years ago. The kids got old enough, they were starting helping on cars. You know, everything's a hammer. A screwdriver, it's a hammer, and a pliers, it's a hammer, and a hammer might be a hammer, but basically everything's a hammer. And a lot of the stuff I work on is actually fixing stuff, so you can't use hammers, but on these cars you can use hammers, so they help me on these cars. Yeah, we'll just call it help. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna see if we can get this into the shop today and start getting it tore down. And we're actually gonna build this car. I don't usually build cars. I just usually strip them down, throw a little roll bar in them, and we go. And I do go out for fun, but I think this one we're actually gonna try and compete with, so we'll see. It's pretty rough, but here it is. This is a 2008 Chevy Impala. We'll give you a little walk around. This thing I bought from an insurance auction. It was totaled, obviously, if you couldn't tell. This side's the good side. I took what was left of the fender off. I think there's only about 2 bolts. They got hit in the front up here. I've already put a new aluminum cradle on it, but the rack I think got messed up, or an A-arm got broke, because I think both wheels are pointed out. But I had it on the trailer, and I put that on it when it was on the trailer because they loaded it with a forklift, and the front tires are actually so far out that I couldn't slide it back off my trailer with my winch, so I had to actually jack the car up on the trailer and get that front engine cradle on it, because it got bent so far in the accident. And then the frame rail, this frame rail you can see is smashed. This front of this was back into the shock tower. I've pulled it out about a foot. I just took an old junk pickup to it with a log chain right here and just yanked on it until I broke the log chain a couple times, and we called it good. But here's a little walk around. I think it's just a flat donut on the front. I think there's an old modular wheel on the back that was off an old car. But in case you couldn't tell, the car is damaged. Got a broken back window, but from the back it still looks like a normal car. Then you come around over here and it is just screwed up. You can see right here is crunched really bad, and right here is crunched really bad. That was the frame rails of a 1-ton Dodge van, where either this guy or the other guy ran a stop sign or a stoplight. I'm not sure which one. I don't know if this guy ran it or the Dodge did. But anyway, this car got T-boned so hard, it actually ripped the door off of the hinges. This door is just wedged in here. It's still latched right here, but I mean, this door it won't come out. It's wedged in there so hard. And the door panel from the passenger door here was actually in the driver's seat. I pulled it out of the driver's seat so I could sit in the driver's seat and try and get the car off the trailer before I found out the wheels were messed up in the front that bad. But so he got hit here, and then it pushed this car into oncoming traffic, and apparently this was a pickup that hit here. I pulled the hood, you see I pulled the hood back out as much as I could, and I basically just stood on it and jumped a lot because it was, you know, popped up like you always see in an accident. Yeah, but it hit, and we can pop the hood here. And bio means biohazard, by the way. Now here's the reason I bought this car. That is an LS4 V8 in here. So I can run our front wheel drive class with a big V8 LS motor in it. So like that Grand Prix right there would be in this car's class. Now this has a big old V8 that has 3800, which is pretty fast, but then you can also have like a Cavalier that has a little 4-banger, or a Toyota Camry, or just a little gas getter car. This is not meant to be a gas car. This is meant to be a fast car. So that's why I ended up searching for this, and I was looking for one that was wrecked so bad that nobody would want to fix it. But for my purposes, this is what I was looking for. Now, you have to run a roll cage in it anyway, so I can just run a roll cage across my driver's half. And I'll show you. We can go around the inside, but you can see how far up it actually buckled that top. I mean, here's the sunroof, and that's the down side of the outside of the car. I mean, it is just mangled this car. And yeah, you can see I torched this right here. Put my hood back up. I torched this right here to get this pushed back up because I couldn't get all of this pushed up and then that frame rail out. And you see how far it's buckled back into, you see where it was rubbing, the frame rail was rubbing right there where it took the hit, and you see it's all still bent back up on here. But I'm not worried about any of that because it doesn't need to go straight. It's going in circles, well, eights, figure eights, but it doesn't need to drive straight. So let's put that down. Now, the driver's door is the only door that opens. And look at that, just like brand new. But if we look inside, there's our passenger door at our center console. And every single airbag went off. This one's went off too. I just cut it out so I could steer it a little bit. I actually ended up finding this guy because in the back seat, where you can't get into because everything's shoved inside of it, but down back under there was a folded up flag with a address from Afghanistan or Iraq or Afghanistan, all his military papers, his social security card, his birth certificate. I mean, everything was still in this car. So I actually found his address, but I didn't find a phone number, so I googled the address of where he lived, and then I talked to the apartment manager there, and I asked for this guy's name. I'm trying to keep names and places out of it to just try to keep some privacy here, but I asked them to call me because I have had stuff of his. I'm looking for so-and-so's name. We'll just go with that. And they said, okay, well, we'll have him call you. And I said, all right, well, you can look at me while I tell the story, I don't care. And I said, well, I'm looking for him, and I have some things of his that I think he might want. And she says, okay, well, I'll see what I can do, but I can't make any promises. So I get a call from the owner that owned this car, and I says, I bought your old Impala. I talked to him. I've actually been talking to him. I had this car for probably a year and a half now. I talk to him every once in a while. He's a cool guy. You're probably going to watch this. I'm going to tell you about it because he doesn't know I'm making videos now. So I got everything back to him. We're going to try and get this car together, or in the shop today. We're not going to get it together today. We're going to get it in the shop today and see if we can't get some of it pulled apart and stripped down. You know, you got to strip the entire interior out of it. We're gonna pull the back bumper off it, the tail lights. We gotta get it ready. I got a tube style front bumper for it to actually take a little bit more impact because there's no bumper up there right now. It's gone. Everything's gone up front. So I gotta kind of get the front squared away so that if I get hit, it's not gonna immediately puncture my radiator. But like I said, we're just doing this for fun. We don't do it for money. If I was doing it for money, it was not be good.